Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on September 15th, 2021 at approximately 12:38 p.m. PST. Now, you've already got an idea or a goal in mind. You've already got either a past project that you desire to get back on track with or a business venture you desire to get involved in. In either event, you've got something in mind. It's already there. You've already made the choice to go forward. You've already got the purpose laid out, as in, why are you going down this road? And you already have the basics of a plan in place. Now comes the time to be persistent. And it really does not matter what the task is. Understand, we are all in exactly the same place. We are right here, right now. And the trick with persistency is this. It didn't take you a day or two to get in the state you're in. You have spent whatever length of time getting there, but we are all in the same place. Okay, you are where you are. The question you have to ask, and probably already have, is are you content with the place you're in? If you're not, then it's time to make the changes, which is what we're walking through at this point. Okay, now persistency boils down to you get on track, you get on a path, and even if you slip off it, draw yourself back onto that path. Now, this is where that list of tasks goes. And like I said, you keep that list at 15 minutes to half an hour in length. That way you can get things finished and you can feel like you've got things accomplished. Okay, that is the key factor to it is consistently getting back on track. Even when you come offline. Okay, even when you step out of bounds of what you're aiming for. You can't alter the fact you did step out of bounds, but you can certainly get yourself drawn back in. Kind of like the old saying that, if you get thrown off a horse, get right back onto it. Okay, and you'll get used to the idea. You'll get things moving in the right direction. Now, for me, this really boils down to making certain I stay on track. And again, I try and get things up and running. Okay, I do my best to get things up and running first thing in the morning. Needless to say, with it now being afternoon, that didn't work out quite right this morning. However, it has put a lot of things in perspective. Okay, and it does boil down to making absolutely certain that I take the time. I'm looking for my board that I laid up. Where the heck did I put it? Right there. Yes, I get a little scattered, but that's why I tell you this is a live recording. It's a live reading. No, it's a live recording. Meaning, when I get finished this, I simply go back, double check the date that I did it on, double check to make sure I got the date right, and then I turn around and post it as is. Any hiccups, any stumbles, any miscalculations that I make, you get to see them. But keep in mind, if you meet me in person ever, you'll find I'm exactly the same way. Granted, I don't talk as much with my hands if I'm talking to somebody else. Primarily because I've got something else to do. But with that in mind, okay, I do get back on track on a consistent base. This was the thing I was looking for. Because this I can put right beside me, right in front of me, as I go along. And just add things that I need, that I require. That way it keeps me on track. Now here's the nice part. Okay, there's a couple of projects I've got on the go. One I really do require your assistance with. And I do ask you, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Okay, subscribe to the channel because there's a lot of information I'll be covering. A lot of information I've covered already. Starting on March 6th of this year, I've put out a video just about every day. Sometimes I've gotten 2 of them out. Okay, but there's a lot of different venues that I've gone down. Okay, and one of the biggest projects I'm working on is to get this message out. And the one I returned again to bring a message back for was to let every entity in existence know that together we can make this a better world. Okay, people have inherently, they have learned very effectively how to hurt each other. Okay, what I would like to see happen and what I came back here to do was to help you understand that we don't have to continue hurting each other if we follow three basic laws. Okay, and look at the guidelines you personally are following. Okay, whatever guidelines they are. Compare them to these three. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Okay, now look at all the guidelines you operate by, whether they're religious or support group, or whether they're family. Compare them to those three laws and see if, as I've discovered, see if the laws that you're following or the guidelines you're following fit into those three. Now, to that end, what I am aiming at is very simple. Take this message and get it to everybody in existence. Okay, not just humans. Every race out there, every species out there. Okay, now, many people have computers, but my goal is to get the people that have the computers to get out and talk to the people that they come in contact with and spread this same message. Okay, now it's been tried multiple times in the past, and I say tried because apparently it failed. Okay, if it hadn't failed, we wouldn't have so many wars going on in the world right now. Okay, and this is why I keep picking myself back up and keep getting back onto this video and repeating the same message. Sometimes, if you're anything like I was when I was growing up, sometimes you'll get sidetracked. Okay, my parents had a very simple problem. They literally used to tell me they had to tell me the same thing twice in succession for me to hear the whole sentence. There was a problem up here. Some people still think there's a problem up here. But, that said, am I still intent on getting this message out? Absolutely, but it's going to require your assistance. So I will thank you in advance for sharing this video with everybody available. Okay, now that's one project I'm working on. Okay, and that's the big one where it comes to the videos. And again, thanks very much to the original listeners at Spaced Out Radio. Okay, at spacedoutradio.com that encouraged me to start doing the video. At this point, it feels very off if I don't get my video done. Okay, it's kind of weird because it quite often feels like I'm talking to me. Okay, which I suspect is better than talking to the wall, but I think the wall gives better responses. But persistence is the factor that has to be maintained. If you're building a business, get an idea in mind. And absolutely, if you're striving to get a business or to get a business up and running, or you're striving to pick an old project up that you put aside for whatever reason. If it's just a general comment, absolutely, or one that you don't mind the entire world seeing, absolutely, post it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Same goes for any guideline you're following that doesn't fit in the first three that I listed. Okay, drop me a comment in the comments below. Okay, if you'd like something that you would rather the rest of the world not know about, then drop me a private message in one of the contact points listed below this video, and I will do my level best to get back to you. Okay, now I've got, as I said the other day, I've got almost 2 weeks now of videos that I've got laid out. Okay, and I've already had one request from one gentleman regarding another video, which will come out once I'm done the first 12. It is next on the list. And quite literally, where it comes to that, is this funny thing called a list again. Now, these are the videos I've got laid out. Okay, and I am happy to say it's working quite nicely, where I don't have to try and figure out what I'm talking about, what I'm going to talk about. Lord knows I don't pay attention to me much, but That being said, by sticking to your guns, by staying focused on the goal you desire to have, by altering the energy in your office, in your house, so that it is no longer pulling sideways and is moving in the right direction. Well, that was a minor interruption. Anyway, stay on track. Keep getting back on the track if you have to. If you have to stop for whatever reason, get back on that path. Okay? Persistence is what will get you through it. And it's always, always, always one step at a time. Not necessarily with your legs. If you don't have legs, you do it in a slightly different fashion, but you're still moving forward. Okay? So you stay focused on that goal. And by continually coming back to it, it's kind of like trying to get into cold water in a lake. You know, you can jump in with both feet. In my case, that's a bad idea. But most people, what they do is they walk a little in, get used to it, back up, and go back in again. Okay. And the trick, and the reason that works is because if you're stepping in and backing up, you're getting used to it while you're doing this in this back and forth motion. Okay. And quite frankly, from your standpoint, if you can when you get into that rhythm, you can get a whole lot more excited, a whole lot more enthusiastic about getting that goal thing completed, whatever it is. Okay. It's kind of like if you're trying to climb a mountain. You know, you start up it a little, you can't quite get there, so you back off a little, but you keep working at this back and forth motion until you reach that peak. Okay, it's the same as any goal. Now, for me, the video is one. The other issue that I'm working with, the other big project I'm working with, is these novels. Okay, The Birth of the Wolf Pack. Now, I've got a whole series of them on the go. Right, I'm actually writing, as it turns out, 17 of the 32, and I think I've got 33 books at this point that I'm working on. But 17 of them are tied to the Yldrbac Chronicles. Okay, now I just have to figure out how to market it properly. But that is another major goal. Now, a third goal that I'm working on is a whole lot more simplistic. Okay, I looked it up the other day, and I have read to date, since I started tracking them, okay, I've read 62 books. I am aiming at reading 100 before I pass away. Okay, well, I've got 2 sitting right here beside me. And again, I keep tabs on what I'm reading so that I know how far, how many books I've got, like how far in a book I've got. Because I'm reading 2 of them right now and I'm about to start a third one. As we can tell, I don't do only one thing at a time. Okay, I find that very, shall we say, unproductive for me personally. I recommend, where it comes to the list, put 3 things on the list, each one only 15 minutes to a half hour in length. When you get one finished, check it off and add a third one to the bottom of the list. This will keep you on track to get things done. Okay. Very important from my standpoint. Now, when you continually return to that process, eventually what will happen, and I cannot give you a time frame on it, but you will get things racked off. You will get things completed. Okay. This I was working with yesterday. This little dragon here is from the Yldrbac Chronicles. Now, the reality is that wasn't what it was built for. Okay, it was just an ornament. I like the look of it. And it just so happened to fit my story very nicely. So, that's just one of those, if you will, visualizational, more, I have no idea. I just pulled a complete blank on what I was going to say. Motivator, that's the word. Okay, it helps me keep a visual idea of what I'm writing. I've got a lot of little figures and what have you that I'm working with to do that. But the trick is, and I cannot in my opinion, stress this enough. Once you get a plan in motion, persistence is what will bring it to fruition. Okay. And absolutely, I would love to hear your comments on this venue in the comments below. Okay. And to me, it's a question of reaching everybody. Now, some people will say, well, I don't want to ask a stupid question. Okay, well, the reality is a lot of questions that people think are stupid are ones that other people are thinking of asking as well. Okay, now I will admit there are some questions that I look at that I do consider a little dense, if at the very least, ill thought out. Okay, I knew of one business, and this person happened to be an aquatic fitness trainer. Okay. Now, it was absolutely priceless because one of her students on their graduation, when they were getting ready for their graduation test, their final exam, the student walks up, and understanding this woman was teaching aquatic fitness, this student apparently walked up to her and goes, "During our final exam, do we have to get into the water?" And I'm like, now how do you answer that without coming across as being really sarcastic? Okay. For me, it was just like, well, yeah, it's aquatic. What do you think was going to happen? Okay. But, whatever the goal is, okay, like I've got a list of different projects on the go that are all tied to the Yldrbac Chronicles. Okay, and most of them I've got actually checked off. And I've literally got them so I know how far down the road I'm going. Okay, because I've got to get the story written, right, which is where my priority focus will be once I get done this video. Now, if you stay persistent, if you stay focused on what you're aiming at, even if you come off track, like for those of you that have an addiction, okay, and you come up with this idea that you do not, as a matter of fact, I'm going to cover that, I'm going to take a look at that. If you get it through your head that you can break the addiction, okay, then you're in actually pretty good shape. What I'm going to do is see if I've already done a video on addictions, because I don't want to start duplicating them, as it were. So just making a note for myself to check into it. So I will manage to do that before the end of today. Okay. And again, this is why I keep this handy, so that I can actually stay on track. But that persistence, because remember, it did not take you just a moment to get here. However you got to where you are, it hasn't been a short journey in all likelihood. Some of you may have had a short journey. One primary example, obviously, is if you happen to get in an accident that unfortunately limits your mobility. It's an overnight thing that you've got to adjust to. Okay, and there's not a lot of functional guidance out there, except look at where you are and go, okay, I can't change where I am at this point, but I can move forward. Okay, I know a while ago I told you about a client that I had that was brought to me because she was in a wheelchair. And she was told that was where she would be for life. Well, she was only 17. So the child was brought to me, and I worked on her and got her out of the wheelchair. All I did, in all fairness, was remind her body how to operate. That's all I ever do. It's her that had to do the work. It's kind of like these. Okay, I was told my eyesight would collapse completely as I got older. It's getting stronger. Because I never bought into the idea that it had to collapse completely. I bought into the idea that it was pretty much messed up. But it has to be curable. Because what I have found out, and this is where my steadfast hold on the whole thing works, I did discover that if you focus on redirecting the energy, you can get things moving right. Now, my eyesight used to be so bad, I couldn't see my glasses held that close to my face. Now, I've got 20/20 eyesight where it comes to reading. Okay, or at least that's what the doctors say. From my standpoint, it boils down to this. I can grab a sheet of paper, I can look at it at this length, and I can see it. Okay, but that being said, it's been a question of staying focused on realizing that anything that your body is going through, your body can correct with the right mindset and the right guidelines. Something else that I am very pleased with, where it comes to the Yldrbac Chronicles, I keep working on multiple projects at the same time, but I did have a word with my artist regarding the back cover. Okay, and if you take a look at the back cover, I now have, because these covers, when you take a look, when you line them up right, when you have, where are we here? This is actually book 10 of the series. So you'll take 10, 11, 12. There are 12 books in all that will produce a complete back panel. Okay. That's not working well. There. Together they will complete a picture. Now, the thing I was pleased about today is I got a hold of my artist and we've worked out everything. So he's working on the complete back panel. Once we're done that complete back panel, then we can start working on some of the other parts of the artwork I'm getting him to do. Okay, which does remind me, on top of everything else, that is not what I need. This is why I keep this. And yeah, I realize I take time out to make notes for myself, but that's how you stay on track. Is by making, and that's how I stay on track. Now, if you're using a different method that is working, then by all means do so. Now, understand, I use pen and paper, but in today's world, computers are a viable alternative. But the principle is still the same. Okay, so you take a look at that side of it and you stay getting back on track as often as you have to. It may not be the first time, may not be the second time you've had what people call a false start. Maybe you've done this false start thing a half a dozen times. It doesn't matter, because you can't undo what you've already done. But, or more to the point, you cannot change the fact that what you did, you did. Okay, but you can alter where you're heading. You can alter the direction the energy in your house is running. That you can do. Okay. And, quite frankly, I'm quite willing to guide you down that road. Okay. If you're trying to get a hold of me, there's a lot of contact points below this video where you can reach out to me. And I do my best to actually talk to people, to respond. Most of the time I'll respond to the comment itself, and then I will look past it and see what else has to be done. So, like in this case, I've got a video that has been asked to be done, which it is on my list. And once I get through the first series that I've already laid out, okay, then I will do that one first. However, if you've got a topic that you would like me to look at a little bit more in depth, drop me a note in the comments below, and I will put it next on the list. Ideally, as far as that venue goes, I am looking at making things happen. I am looking at making things, basically getting at least 30 different videos set up in order. Now, right now, what am I looking at? Well, that's the wrong sheet to look at. That's for dang certain. There we are. We are there. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12 videos laid out, which, in case you hadn't figured out, is almost 2 weeks laid out, which is great. I am going to simply keep an eye open. Now, I could add more videos, but right now, I'm leaving that door open in case you have a topic that you would like me to look at, either in personal, in business, or in alien abductions, UFOs, near-death experiences, all that metaphysical side of stuff. The stuff that isn't quite mainstream. That's where I live. I mean, in simplest terms, my life is likely closer to science fiction than anything else. But, as you can see, now, I jump around a fair chunk, but then I've got, well, let's see. I'm reading 3 books right. Yeah, come to think of it, I am. I'm already reading 3 books, writing 32. And I've got a 4th book I'm looking at starting very shortly. But all of these will be wrapped off. Okay. And that's because I got the idea in my head. And I'm using these tools that I've talked to you about in order to keep bringing myself back on track to get them done. Okay. See, one of the things that I have been neglecting today, which I am putting on my list right now, is my own exercise path. Okay. Again, I spend a lot of time in front of the computer, and you may as well. The thing I recommend is that at least once an hour, get up and go for a couple-minute walk, just to get the blood flowing, to clear your head, to stay on track. Okay. I'm not talking about getting out and running the marathon. I'm talking about simply getting focused and making sure you're taking care of you. One thing that I find a lot of people do is they much as they get around to eating. That's really annoying. I didn't go that way all the way. I should not leave my coffee so far behind my shoulder, should I? Many people remember the idea of eating, but some of you have this tendency of forgetting to hydrate, to keep liquid in your system. Okay. Now, that said, if you haven't done that today and you're listening to this and I'm telling you, make sure you keep water in your system. If you haven't done it already, go and grab yourself a bottle. Absolutely put the video on pause. Okay, but go and grab yourself a drink. Okay, these are just ways to help keep your body running properly. Very important ways, in all fairness. One of the other things I've got to look at is I've got a whole pile of emails I've got to go through. See, what I do when my emails come in is I take a look at the topic on them and go, yeah, I've got to deal with that one, or no, I just don't want to. Okay, or I just don't desire to, so I cut it loose. Now, this said, as soon as I get done this video, again, and I know I'm repeating myself, persistence is what will see your dreams reach fruition. And that boils down to get that plan in motion and then stick with it, because it's going to take some time to make it happen. Now, if you like my videos, absolutely give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, okay, and share the daylights out of it. Now, don't forget to hit that alert bell to let you know when my next video comes out. Until then, I will leave you with this thought. Until we talk again, which will be tomorrow sometime, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.